my children. Oh, Marvel Zombies, you go all the way back to the first year of this show. But in 2015, we had an entire Midsummer's Nightmare devoted to you. You'll forgive me if I don't fully dress for the occasion with the Hawaiian shirt. We are out of the bright sun, when it sets a little earlier each day. Captain Marvel sends out a distress signal to Earth. The corpse of Galactus is hanging in space just outside the solar system, apparently originally on its way to Earth, before something stopped him. Galactus's technology, even his body, is advanced beyond anyone else in the universe, so they have to head out there and either claim it first or destroy it to prevent anyone else from getting it. A joint team of X-Men, Avengers, and the Fantastic Four make their way to it. There's a breathable atmosphere closer to his body, and Wolverine can smell something on the body very familiar, but he can't quite identify what. A team ventures deeper into the corpse to investigate, the others soon discovering that Galactus has been hollowed out and turned into some kind of spacecraft. It's already weird for Galactus to have a physical body like this, since, as they say, Galactus's cosmic energy converts him into something that ordinary living beings can comprehend. So to humans, he looks like a human, to the Skrulls, he looks like a Skrull, etc. But of course, to me and to the zombies, he looks like lunch! And indeed, Wolverine finally recognizes the scent just as a zombified Captain Marvel attacks, the entire expedition team being attacked and zombified by them, bringing the corpse to Earth to begin their assault. However, despite the talking superhero zombies speaking very similarly to those infected by the hunger gospel of the original Marvel zombies, this is very much not so, proclaiming instead that they need to come and see after being infected. In any case, in a short amount of time, Earth has become a devastated wasteland. We follow a small group of survivors: Forge, Moonstone, Spider-Man, and the fantastic children Franklin and Valeria Richards. Spider-Man has sworn to protect them where the Fantastic Four were gone, a task he takes very seriously, especially as he lost Mary Jane in the initial attack. Accompanying them are Chewie, the Flurkin cat, and Nana, a reprogrammed sentinel that acts as their big gun, as well as being an artificial intelligence that thinks of itself as the fantastic children's protector. Things are strained, as the zombie apocalypse tends to do. Especially since something is weird about Franklin. He doesn't age, and he's lost his own superpowers. After killing zombie Nightcrawler, the group arrives at the X-Men mansion. While risky due to how many mutants and monsters could be crawling around, Forge says that they really have no choice. Even if the place has already been raided, they need power for their guns and more food that they can get by scavenging, and it has the most amount of resources they could hope for. Hell, maybe it even has a ship they can use to escape Earth on, like the space arcs that left already. Ah, so this is a crossover with Deceased! Inside, they find the walls covered in graffiti written by Deadheads, mutants who chose to worship the zombies as the next evolution of mutant kind, offering human sacrifices to them to prevent being eaten. Deeper inside, they even find some ordinary human survivors. They can't stay together, a group that large will be picked off and make too much noise, so they point them in the direction of another area to go to. Peter starts breaking down a bit, worried that his first thoughts upon finding the survivors was that they would be a liability, that it might be better to leave them locked in instead of facing the zombie hordes. He thinks that he's fallen so far by weighing the pros and cons of saving strangers' lives. Truly heartbreaking and emotional development, Peter. So anyway, let's get some zombies here, huh? Well, first there are some deadheads who try to sacrifice our heroes to the zombified beast, but just get eaten themselves. Forge is killed, but they do manage to decapitate Beast. Franklin has been wanting to find out what happened to his parents, trying to maintain hope that they can be saved, but Beast just says that they're in the Galactus hive now, and if he wants to be with them, he can come and see like the rest have. Moonstone destroys the head, telling Franklin his dream of curing his parents is doomed, but Valerie is not so certain. Perhaps they are the next stage of evolution, that they just need to cure the hunger. Peter tries to discourage this, but Moonstone knows this won't go anywhere. The kids are bound and determined to go, and she's not going on a suicide mission, so she leaves. And indeed, the kids have tracked down where Galactus went after the initial invasion, and nothing Peter says can dissuade them. Unfortunately, Moonstone did indeed end up getting killed and attacks when the kids try to sneak off. but they're soon saved by Blade the Vampire Hunter, who's now more than happy to hunt every undead thing. In flashbacks over the course of the series, we see what happened when the invasion initially began, with Sue Storm actually biting Franklin before Spidey got him and Valerie away. In the present, however, the group travels over the Phalanx Wall. It seems that the zombies have competition for their takeover of Earth. Robots, of course, are immune to this plague, and so all the artificial life has joined forces to destroy the zombies, or respawn as they call them. The group crashes in their territory, where we learn that Vision is among them, along with the Punisher. He willingly allowed himself to be assimilated by the machines, figuring that it would help him survive the plague. But the machines are still kind of dicks, because if you don't volunteer to join them, they force the matter. When the zombies attack them in force, Viv allows them to escape, sacrificing herself to stop the Hulks from destroying Nana. Nana, during its brief time in possession by the machines, is upgraded with self-repair systems, so it's in better shape than it's been in a while. Valerie works on a new bioweapon that Forge was working on before he died, thinking it might come in handy as they arrive at the location of the Galactus Hive. Atlantis, which became a colony for refugees while the space arcs were being built. Communications with them went out though, so nobody knows what happened to them. Of course, they were slaughtered like everyone else, but inside they do locate Wolverine, still alive and not zombified thanks to his healing factor. But it was only so much it could do to fight off the plague, not allowing his eyes to regenerate. It turns out to be a trap for the group. The zombified mutant Magic, who had been with the initial expedition team, opens a portal to Limbo, where the Galactus Hive is really located. Wolverine finally explains what the zombies are and why they can't be cured. They're the Brood, Marvel's version of the Xenomorphs from Alien. This group is an offshoot from the Brood, and they managed to infect Galactus, the power cosmic transforming themselves into hunger itself. They plan to infect everything, not just this universe, but others as well, partially thanks to Magic's ability to open portals to Limbo. Still, they were waiting to grab all the metahumans that were left, which includes Peter and the children. But we discover what really happened to Franklin Richards. Spidey fled to a group of other survivors, which included the rogue Phalanx Warlock. Peter demanded they help Franklin, so they did so the only way they could. Made him a new body from techno-organic matter, then transferred his consciousness into it before his body died. Upon realizing that these are not her family to be cured, Valerie begins shooting the zombies, revealing also that Chewie had ingested some of the robots from the Coalition and regurgitates them to fight the zombies as well. Our heroes head into the Galactus Hive, and Valerie unveils her backup plan to end all this. At the core of the Galactus Hive, they can destroy everything, but they need a big enough boom for that. The weapons that they had been working on used the mutant power of Gambit, who could make objects explode. They use Magic Sword to escape and destroy all the zombies in one fell swoop. 1 month later, they and the machines are rebuilding. Apparently Vision survived the attack, but it seems Franklin took something with him. The head of the Silver Surfer. He says the Brood always have a queen controlling their hive, so where is theirs? The Surfer says she is very much beyond their reach, but she's aware of what they did, and she will meet them soon enough. While it doesn't have the dark humor of the original Marvel Zombies, Resurrection more than makes up for it with great character dynamics. And perhaps we'll be seeing more of the Brood zombies again in the future.
We've given some reasons already why Moarte calls us his children, usually for the sake of telling stories. And while this one is on a similar vein, it's for less wholesome reasons. Once upon a time, a man was a father to 3 beautiful children. He was not alone as a parent, their mother also being around. He told stories to them at night, books that they asked to read, fairy tales for the youngest, and spooky stories if they wanted a fright, then would roll his eyes when they proclaimed that they had nightmares the next morning. But one day, his wife and their children were lost in a car accident, and he grew despondent and lived in denial. Each day he'd come home from work and kiss his wife that wasn't there, tuck in his children that were buried miles away, and he'd read them stories But his madness slowly transformed into the truth as time went on. He couldn't live with the lie, so he decided to change the truth. Studying books of magic, of sorcery, of necromancy, not meant for human eyes, he attempted to resurrect his family and failed. Oh, but not that they didn't rise from the grave, but rather to reunite with them. He accidentally turned himself into one of the undead. His final thoughts were of reading stories to his children, and that carried over into his new unlife. If his original children were not around, he'd have new children to tell stories to, and new stories to share. In his day, what all his children liked were comic books, so he found himself more and more horror comics to tell them, since his new children, all of us, seemed to like them above any of the others.